The Brian Mudd Show is on News Radio 610 WiOD.
So a year ago today, a barrel of oil, WTI specifically, $52 a barrel. Right now, real time, we're looking at 85. We've seen this spike. There's been no end in sight. You hear that everything's going higher. You know, if the price of a barrel of oil is going higher, by the time it gets refined and gets shipped out to you, yeah, a lot higher. And that's a lot of why we're hearing, well, yeah, we could push over $4 per barrel or per gallon here in short order. What about this? What's going on? And Jay Young is with King Operating and website kingoperating.com. Joining us to talk about this. Jay, thanks for taking the time.
Brian, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on again.
So let's
we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Want to find out where you think this is going. I mean, have we seen a peak in the price of a barrel of oil, or is this a case where we could see oil shooting north of 100 and who the heck knows at the pump?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'll tell you, it's just like what you said a minute ago, 7-year high on oil, and all of a sudden, man, we're continuing to go up, and there was 2 headlines on the same CEO for Exxon, and he was saying, "Oh, but it's getting ready to come back down." Well, the reason why he's saying it's going to come back down is because they're not deploying what they need to, which is rigs drilling for oil and gas in the United States. They're instead buying back their stock. They made $6 billion last quarter, $6 billion. They spent $10 billion buying back their stock. And what normal oil and gas times, if oil and gas prices are north of 50, 60, and you own as much acreage as they do in the Permian Basin, which is incredible internal rates of returns at these higher prices, you would put rigs to work, and they're not. And Apache's not, and Devon Energy's not, and all these other companies in the United States, they're just not putting that, putting money to work drilling wells. Now let me go back real quick.
Well, I want to follow up on that. That's interesting. How much of that is related to a corporate decision, which would seem odd, especially for their shareholders, versus regulation? Is this a matter of government regulation that's disincentivized them to put rigs back to work?
Yeah, and that's a great question, great comment, because it's a combination of, the numbers don't lie, right? There's permits. There's less permits that they're allowing. They shut off 11 million acres in Alaska that don't allow us to drill. The pipelines, right? Well, the institutions are getting out of the oil business because they put hundreds of billions of dollars to work in the oil patch back 5 years ago when oil prices were higher, and all of a sudden when the pandemic hit, they lost all their money. They lost a tremendous amount of capital in the markets because the price of oil went down back, if you'll remember, right after the pandemic.
Sure.
So they're not wanting to put that money back to work. So it's not only regulations and there's a lot of people that say green. We're going green, and I coined the term greener. I'm saying greener because we'll never go green. We need oil for so many different things other than just transportation or fuel for vehicles. So it is a lot different. But in the future, we're not having that oil. So you have people on the board like Exxon had 2 or 3 new board members that are totally 100% green that hate drilling. So they're telling their shareholders, let's don't drill for oil and gas and think about this long term.
Wow.
Let's go natural gas only. So many different reasons why we're not drilling, but the numbers are there that we're not going to drill in the next 2-3 years, and oil prices will be pushed higher. And when that happens, you're going to have to pay more at the pump. You pay $4, $5. I don't know, Brian, exactly where it's going to go, but it's not looking really, really good.
Well, Jay, that was phenomenal perspective, and I'm really glad that you took the time to bring it to us because I think a lot of people want to know, can we, expect to get used to this? And you're saying yes, and also the underlying reasons right down to the boards of some of these energy companies that are disincentivizing and putting pressure on the executives from drilling along with new government regulations. So that's significant. Jay Young with King Operating and website kingoperating.com. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you again.
Thank you.